watching Backpack Rock. Stay tuned for an interview with Flogging Molly.
Dust falls on the empty halls of my old school, where the memories fade like the casualty of forgotten fool. Now wide-eyed.
So, since this is the first video interview with Backpack Rock, why don't you start by telling a brief story behind the band?
Sure. We kind of came together around our singer Dave, who was playing at a pub in named Molly Malone's in Los Angeles. We all kind of, everybody in the band at one time or another had kind of seen him play and got interested in his music, and then eventually we just kind of coalesced into being in the band. We kind of struck out and started playing Warped Tour in the States for a couple of years, and then kind of built up a fan base there with a lot of the skate crowd, and then came to Europe and started touring in Europe maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yeah, and from the days in Molly Malone's pub, did anyone suspect that things are gonna go this far?
No, not really. I mean, at Molly's we were just kind of it was like every Monday night we played. We did about 2.5 years, and we just made a little extra scratch and had a good time. Had some drinks, had fun with our friends, and whenever we had gone out and kind of like talked to people about it, most people that we had talked to in the industry were just like, yeah, no one will ever play this stuff on the radio. You'll never like really be a successful band about it. So we were just kind of doing it for fun, and it just kind of kept growing and growing.
Yes, it seems like Flogging Molly finally got the recognition you deserve, and with the new album, I mean, do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think for us it seems like we've just been doing what we do the whole time, and we've had our fans, and our fans are great, and so that's all we really focus on is just doing the shows and writing the music and stuff, and the industry stuff just kind of, it is what it is, and you can't control it, and it usually sucks, so it's not that big a deal.
Walk away, me boys, walk away, me boys. But morning we'll be free. Wipe the golden tear from your mother, dear. There's what's left of the flag for me.
Do you think that playing folk, Celtic punk music, not just straightforward punk music, helps you cross the boundaries of punk rock as a genre, and do you draw more people because of it?
I think, I don't know, I think it goes both ways. Like, I think, punk is just a word, and it's all just words, so it's like, but people get really attached to like the whole scene and everything, and there's some kids who are just diehard punk and don't want to hear anything that's not punk, and to them punk means like and to them we're not even punk enough. So it's like, so those kids are excluded from it because we have the crossover, and then on the other side, like, a lot of people are afraid of anything that says punk on it, even if they might even like it if they listen to it. So I think from both sides you exclude as many people as you cross over, just because people are so very attached to whatever they're into. Yeah. But I think we don't really, like, when we're writing music, we don't think about like, let's make a punk song, let's make a folk song, we just kind of try to make music that, and I think as any musician, you want your music to reach as many people as possible. You want your music to be accessible to people, but whether or not your style is going to be accessible to them, you just never know.
But is the genre of Celtic punk rock getting stronger, or maybe deteriorating?
I think it's stronger than it was when we started. There's a lot more bands doing it now. As far as like whether or not the record labels can sell it better, I doubt it. I think it's when we started, there was the Pogues and the Dubliners and Dropkick Murphys, but the past of it was the Pogues were the only like punk rock Irish band back then. Well, now there's 50 of them out there. They're doing pretty well, and so I think now it's just more common. People are more acquainted with the music than when we started out or when we were kids. Like, the Pogues were underground music, man. It wasn't like you went into a record store and there was a Pogues poster on the wall. It was like, it was much more underground, and now I think it's more accepted because more people are doing it, so people are experiencing it.
I so far progressive God, where no doctor can relieve me. I'm buried beneath the sod, but the angels won't receive me. Let me go, boys, let me go, boys. Let me go down in the mud, rivers on the shore.
And do you consider yourselves as having an important role in spreading the Celtic culture and Irish culture?
I think anytime, I mean, I don't know whether we're personally that important within the cultural scene of Ireland, but I think anytime you can take a roots music or a cultural music and adapt it to make it more relevant to the time, while still maintaining your respect for it, I think that always helps bring the culture out and forward. Yeah.
Sail away on a ball and changer, keep us from the roaring waves. Get her on the body, but forever we'll be free. So sail away aboard a rig, the moon is falling slowly. 7 drunken pirates were the 7 deadly sins. Yeah!
And how do you find Ireland when you go to play there? I mean, your vocal and lead singer is Irish, and anybody else in the band has some Irish roots?
Everybody in the band has some Irish roots, except for I think Matt. Matt's Scottish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he has any Irish, but everybody in the band's got some piece of it. But Dave's the only guy who's actually from Ireland. It has been a long road. You know, we've played there over the last 4 or 5 years, and when we first started playing there, a lot of kids don't really like traditional music. They're into metal or whatever. And when they hear that we have traditional music in it, they're just like, forget it, I'm not into it. And so it took a long time for us to play shows and have people be like, oh, they don't suck, it's traditional, but it's punk rock too, or whatever, it's rock and roll too. So there was I think a couple of years, we did a couple of festivals. Then we just did 2 shows this last year in Dublin, and both of them were fantastic. Like all of a sudden, finally kind of turned that corner, and I think maybe the word of mouth is now enough that people realize it's a great show, you should come see it, you know, not, oh, it's just traditional music or it's a punk rock band or whatever, like just, oh, it's a great live show, go see it.
Mm-hmm. Did you happen to meet some of the Dubliners members, and how do you look upon Ronnie's work?
Ronnie Drew was a genius, and Luke Kelly was a genius, like all those guys, Banjo Barney, they're all phenomenal musicians and phenomenal voices in it doesn't matter if you're a folk fan or a punk fan or a rock fan or a blues fan or whatever, like those guys, they're the genuine article, you know. And so his passing was, you know, it was an important thing. It's a sad day for all the music when a guy like that dies.
Raised on songs and stories, heroes of renown, the passing tales and glories that once was Dublin town.